Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to your course Communication Skills ENGL 1119. I am your teacher Jahanzeb Jahan, and today we are talking about the deliverance of a better PowerPoint presentation. Most of the people use Microsoft Office and Microsoft Windows, and for this purpose, whenever they have to present something somewhere, they use PowerPoint to create the presentations. So while making or creating PowerPoint presentations, we should take care of one thing, that our PowerPoint presentations should be effective and impressive. People all over the world use PowerPoint presentations from their schools, in their colleges, universities, seminars, webinars, and everywhere, especially in your Google Classrooms as well. The things nowadays they're going in COVID. You must be knowing that in the prevailing circumstances, we are all staying inside the house, we are working from the house, and webinars and Google Classrooms, they are in quite in fashion. So people use PowerPoint presentations and they deliver the presentation by sitting at home. So this can be done in extremely good way if the PowerPoint presentation is effective and well constructed. So it is not only the content that plays the role, it is our voice too. We can give a very good content on presentation, but what if we do not know how to speak it out, how to make people understand what we are going to say, or in other words, or on the contrary, if we are having very good voice quality and we are speaking very well, but the content is either not too good, or it is too much prevailing over the slides, or it is covering the whole screen of the slide. So even in this way, your presentation loses its effectiveness. So to make your presentation effective, we should pay concentration not only to the content, but also to our voice, the way we are speaking it. So the voice contains both the things, our knowledge of the presentation that we are presenting, and then our voice quality. So these both things are essential with the content of the presentation. Now, making PowerPoint presentation is not as simple as it seems to be. We can download certain templates from so many websites. There are certain topics on which people have already worked, and those resources are already available on Google. So what we do is we download those materials and we give our own presentations based on that, which is quite harmful and ineffective because it doesn't come from our mind and it doesn't address the audience that we are going to address. So we should not be downloading the material from somewhere for our own lecture. Rather, we should prepare it by understanding the audience and by understanding the lecture that we want to deliver or present. We should construct our own PowerPoint presentation. So here we'll see the tips that we can use for better PowerPoint presentations, and they can make and they can bring effectiveness to our presentations and our content that we are trying to transmit to the people. You must have seen that sometimes within one presentation, our slides are varying in their nature. Sometimes our slides are having different backgrounds. Sometimes the color scheme is changing. Sometimes we're using different font sizes and font styles. Sometimes we're using different kind of pictures. So to avoid this thing, we can use Slide Master. So Slide Master is very much an option within Microsoft PowerPoint that allows us to create a slide or a presentation that has fixed pattern and format that carries or goes along with all the slides that you create. Whenever you're adding a new slide or you're creating a new slide, the same pattern or format of the master slide will be followed in that. So using that, we can get rid of so many other changes, or we stick to one font style and one font size like it goes in my presentation here. So use the Slide Master feature to create a consistent and simple design template. It is fine to vary the content presentation, for example, bulleted list, 2-column text, text and images, but be consistent with other elements such as fonts, colors and background. You can choose from the given designs too. So one option is to create your own design, and second option is to get a design or download it from internet using Microsoft PowerPoint. So we should be careful while choosing the design that should it should be looking sophisticated, and it should address to the opportunity or to the task where we are presenting. For example, if I am presenting within my classroom or in some conference, so I should be choosing very neat, clean, simple and sophisticated kind of appearance. Or else if I am presenting a birthday gift to my friend, there I can choose bright colors, bright themes. So this thing varies from our audience to audience, from content to content, but using Slide Master saves us from so many things that can disrupt our presentation. Here you can find the link of a YouTube video of how to prepare a PowerPoint Slide Master view. So using this Slide Master will help you in rest of your life for making effective presentations. This also helps if we are distributing a work among so many peoples and we want them to come with the same format. So we can share the Slide Master creation with them, and this will end up in no change or very little change. Otherwise, people tend to use their own design, their own font size, their own color scheme, which is not good at all. Now, before creating any PowerPoint presentation, we should be knowing the audience. So audience is something for which we are preparing the lecture or the presentation. We should carefully plan the material according to the needs, lacks, and wants of the audience. We should know what they are needing and what sort of material should we put in the presentation. We should be knowing what are they lacking or that should be included in it, and what are they wanting from this presentation. So these things should be integral part of our presentation. Moreover, we should use language and techniques according to the bent of mind or according to the age group of the audience. For example, if I haphazardly download some presentation from internet and that doesn't suit the caliber of my audience, so that presentation will not prove to be effective. If I am delivering a lecture for my students, so I'll be carefully planning about the use of language, that I should be using simple words that are expressive, that are action verbs, and which are easily understood. I should not be using very extensive vocabulary in that. Moreover, the techniques I should be using or the technology I should be employing should also be understood by the students. So in this way, when we are having a better understanding of the audience, we are in a better position to convey our knowledge. For example, so many students say that the lectures should be there in Urdu language, but since we are studying English language and communication skills, so I should be taking care of the fact that the lectures are in English language because we are at university level. So this is knowing your audience. This is knowing what is better for them, or what better, or how you can communicate better, and how can you transmit your knowledge to them. Now, limited words are preferred and they are likely to be used in effective PowerPoint presentations. Simplify and limit the number of words on each screen or slide. We should use key phrases and include only essential information. You must have seen certain slides or lectures which are covering the whole screen or the slide, and it takes a long time for you guys to read the whole content that is written there. And sometimes presenter, for his or her own ease, writes all the information on the screen, so he or she doesn't have to prepare for it. Now this thing goes negatively, and this is not effective PowerPoint presentation. We should use simple words, limited words. If there is a quotation, that should be added as it is. Otherwise, there should be bullets, there should be points that should be written on the screen, or if there is some definition, that can completely come there. Rest of the knowledge should come by the presenter or through the presenter to the audience. So this is a better way to communicate with the audience whom we are addressing. Now this is an example of a filled data or content that is covering the whole slide. Now look at it and compare it with the previous or the next slide. You will see a difference, that if you're sitting at back, you will not be able to read what is written here, or you will have to pay complete concentration on a single slide, and you will be losing your attention to it because material is so much there. If this material can be divided into 4 to 5 slides, and those 4 to 5 slides will capture the audience attention. In this way, we are completely losing the audience attention, which should be attained at any cost. Then limit your punctuation. So limiting punctuation and avoiding all the capital letters is recommended in PowerPoint presentation. Capital letters tend to bring us stress on the viewer. So we should be using small letters and capitals where they are necessary. Empty space on the slide will enhance readability. Now consider the previous slide where there was no room to write any further, and then consider this slide. You will see that there is a monogram, there is a title, and there is a subtitle of what I am going to say, and then there are only 2 lines, barely 2 lines, which are addressing that subheading, and rest of the material is coming from me. So it is I who is talking more or telling more. So in this way, I am not using PowerPoint, or I am not being addicted to it in a way that if there is no PowerPoint, I will not be able to speak, because the knowledge lies there in my mind that I am transferring to you people. So we should be making the screen clear, the slide should be neat, and readability should be there. There should be less use of capital letters. There should be empty spaces on the slides. You can see that on the upper top, on the right, left, and in the bottom, the space is empty. Even between the lines, between main heading and subheading, between subheading and the text, the body. So there has to be certain space. Now this space increases or enhances the readability of the audience who are watching your presentation. Using contrasting colors. So colors should be contrasting, like in my slide. You can see that there is light green tone and that is very much soothing to your eyes, like it is not affecting your eyes negatively. The way in the night you're using your mobile phone with the lights off and the brightness just blinds your eyes, so it is not happening in this case. Even if you're reading it with your lights off, this will be tending to give a soothing view to your eyes. So we should be using contrasting colors. So use the contrasting colors for text and background. Light text on a dark background is the best. Pattern backgrounds can reduce readability of the text. So when you are downloading the designs or selecting the offered designs by PowerPoint, so you can see that there are certain designs having so many patterns on them. So patterns tend to hide the text on them and they're affecting your eyes. So you do not feel it at once, but gradually or unconsciously you're feeling the effect of it, and it tires your eyes, it tires your brain, and eventually you are not able to listen to or see the complete presentation. So there should be contrasting colors. You can use a white color on black, you can use a black color on white, you can use the color scheme that I am pointing out here. So these are the things that affect and improve your presentation, and it makes your presentation effective and impressive. Now look at this slide. I have changed only two things. I have changed the background color and I have changed the color of the text. Rest everything is the same. There's the same spacing all around, the same heading, same mono, same title, same body, and apart from that the text is almost the same. But what is the thing you are not liking in this slide? So it is the background color that is too bright for your eyes, and there is no contrast of the background color with the text color. So the text color is blue, which is not going up with the red color of the background. So in this way, looking at this slide for a moment, for a time, or till your speaker finishes his slide, you will not be able to concentrate on it because it is not soothing for your eyes. You're not liking the very shape and color scheme of this very slide. So consider a presentation replete with the same pattern everywhere, like for example, if there is a presentation having 40 to 50 slides in it, and every slide goes with the same like this in front of you, like this color scheme, this background color. So you can make out how will you feel about it. So to avoid that fact, we should be using some better contrast or better combination of colors. Remember one thing, it is not only your content that matters, it is also your display of your content. Your content is just like a gift, a present, and your presentation, your like a slide and its formation, it is just like the gift wrapper on your content, on your present. If you can presenting a very good content in such a shape is just like presenting a very expensive mobile phone to someone wrapped in a newspaper. So I hope you understand what I mean to say. So we lose the effect of the content if we are displaying it in a very poor quality. Now coming back here, now your eyes must have relieved. They must have felt certain soothing content now here, and they must have thanked to God. Okay, thanks to God that slide is over, because this one is soothing. Nothing is changed except for two things: background color and the text color. Now we should also avoid the overuse of transition. So transition is a change between one slide to another. Sometimes they're very good transitions which are available, and they're also very funny and funky kind of transition. If we are using them in our formal kind of presentations, so they do not go with them and people do not tend to like it. We should be, first of all, we should not use transitions at all, and if it is necessary for us to use them, they should be good, they should be formal, they should be sophisticated, and they should match up with the content and with the audience. So why the use of flashy transitions such as text flies in, like text is coming from the end of one screen to other or from one corner to another. These features may seem impressive at first, but are distracting and get old quickly. Sometimes we use the same animation everywhere. So the first time it looks good, but then again people get bored by looking the same animation again and again. It doesn't mean that you should be using different animation on all the slides. It means that you should use animation where it is necessary. So there should not be animation on each slide, or there should not be overuse or overdoing of the same animation time and again. Now here I have tried to use animation. You may have liked it because I have used it for the first time. What if I am using it everywhere? So you will not be using it if you're watching from 25 to 26 slides on the same topic with the same animation going everywhere. So this is the way that we should be avoiding animations or transitions. So these transitions and animations, they make our they lose the effectiveness of our presentation. So again, if we are having good content, good background, good color scheme, good spacing all over, but if we are making an overdoing of transition, that destroys everything. Then special effects should also be avoided, the overuse of them. So the use of special effects such as animation and sounds may make your presentation look catching, but can negatively impact your credibility. Like you may have used PowerPoint before, and you can see that there are certain sounds like chimes, there are certain bullet sounds like a gun is shot, a bullet is shot, a gun is fired. There is piano key sound, there is typewriter sound, there is keyboard typing sound. So these sounds look good if they are appearing once, but these sounds do not go with the formal presentations. So if we want to make our presentation formal enough, we should be avoiding such effects and such sounds, because they if they're attached with the whole presentation or all the slides, they lose the attention of the audience, and the effectiveness is disappeared. Here I have used special effects, and I have seen the use of such special effects in so many formal presentations. They may look good at first, but again, overdoing the same effects again and again can lose the credibility or effectiveness. We can use it once for certain powerful quotation, but using the effects everywhere, that goes in negative. Now look at the sound along with it. I hope you're listening to the sound too. So people tend to use so many ridiculous kind of sound with each letter that appears. If there's no sound with using the same content, it may seem impressive, but that sound is constantly moving with each letter. It is coming to our ears and it is disturbing our inner peace. So writing in a way is destructive to your presentation, and the effectiveness of words, that is lost. Yes, it may be the case that if we are not using the sound with it, once or twice the use of such effects may be good for your presentation. But again, as I said, that that should be used at a place where the words are quite effective. It may be certain quotation or very good definition. So there you can use it, but not everywhere. We should use good quality images for our presentation. So we should be using images that reinforce and complement our message. We should ensure that our image maintains its impact and resolution when projected on a larger screen. Sometimes we add an image to our presentation which is quite relevant and complements our message, but it is good when seen on the laptop or mobile screen, but when it is projected on a larger screen, we find that the resolution is disturbed, the image sounds blur, and that is not that catchy as it was looking while we were fixing it on our laptop or mobile screen. So for this case, we should be using larger images that have high resolution. For that, you can simply go to Google and you can type HD images on terrorism, HD images on population, whatever your topic is. And again, you can also go to Google Images, and when you are searching for an image, you can find a toolbar like just below the search bar, and from that toolbar you can select the size of the image. And if you select the larger size, so Google will show you the larger images on the same topic you are searching. So we should be using HD quality images and larger images that I have tried to use in this presentation to some extent. So they are like such a thing which increase the viewership, they increase they're catching to our eyes. Using limited number of slides. Unfortunately, in this lecture, I had to use so many slides because I could not put all the data here, and since we are learning how to make effective presentations, so everything had to come in its order. But presenters who constantly flip to the next slide are likely to lose their audience. A good rule of thumb is 1 slide per minute. So we should not switch or flip between one slide to another before the time of 1 minute. So 1 minute is quite a good time that your audience has read all the data that is given or all the content that is displayed on a single slide, and then they can move further, and then they are willing to move further and willing to watch the next slide. The average time of my slide here may be from 1 to 2 minutes, which is considerably good time of each slide. So we should have a limited number of slides, and rest of all the narration should come from the presenter. It is a very bad habit with the presenters that they put all the material on the slide and they read it from there, and it takes a huge time for them to flip the slide, or sometimes there is nothing written at all and people switch from one slide to another, and even the presenter is feeling that this thing should be skipped. Learning navigation is something which is unknown to most of us. The navigation means knowing where to go, especially in the sea. So here navigation is knowing that how to go back and how to come back from where you were starting, or from where, or to the place where you were. So it is knowing how to practice moving forward and backward within your presentations. Audience often ask questions. Sometimes they have missed something, they have missed some content or picture, so they wish to get back. And we should be knowing how to get back to the previous slide and how to go to the next slide. So a presenter should be technologically equipped. He should be knowing the complete use of PowerPoint as far as his presentation is concerned. So everything related to his presentation must be in grip of the presenter. So in this way, he'll be effectively presenting his portion, and he'll be able to display his technological skills to the audience apart from his verbal and his cognitive skills. The text should be readable. If possible, view your slides on the screen you will be using for your presentation. And you should be making sure that everyone, especially those who are backbenchers or sitting on the back row seats, they are able to read your slides. So we should be using text accordingly, or the pictures should be used accordingly. They should not be larger enough or they should not be smaller enough. So a good font size is required. So for that purpose, a presenter must be knowing the room size, the size of the conference room, the size of the hotel room, or the size of the hall where he is to deliver the presentation, and his the font that is using should be used according to the space that is given there and according to the number of the audience. So these things are to be planned before you are going physically to present there. Now, technical issues sometimes create disruption. Sometimes there is no electricity, sometimes our laptop stops working, sometimes we lose the data in USB, sometimes we are not connected with the internet. So we should always have a plan B, and that plan B is to deal with these technical difficulties. Remember that transparencies and handouts will not show animation or other special effects. So we should be having photocopies of our content. So if you try to print your presentation, you will see that converting them on a grayscale, you can print 4 to 6 slides on a single page. So that saves your cost and that saves your print or pages. So it is better to print 4 to 6 slides on one sheet and then make a photocopy of your complete presentation and deliver it to all the audience or to the maximum number of audience, or at least to the half number of the audience. So you should be coming up with such handouts with you, and in case you suffer certain difficulties, you will be able to start reading from your papers. Your paper will not be working as the PowerPoint slide, like they will not be showing the special effects, but at least they will fill in for the major need that you want to present to the people, and they can read it from there and you can speak but by looking at the point. So before you come for your presentation, it is better that you share your presentation with someone who has never seen this presentation before. And then after you're done with your presentation, ask that person for his honest feedback about everything that you have included in your slide. It may be the color scheme, it may be the format, it may be the font style and size, it may be the content or the images that you have used. So after going through the critical commentary of that person, you can bring certain changes in your slides and in your presentation, and your audience will be no more critical, as you had already gone through some critical comments and you adjusted your PowerPoint slide accordingly. Now, this is very important for your presentation. Do not read the slides. You should not be reading your slides, and the content of your slide is for the audience, not for you. So whenever we are presenting somewhere, we should be having bullet points with us, and the content that we are using, that is not to be looked at or that is not to be read, that is for the sake of audience, that they may be knowing whatever you are saying, or your content should work as subtitle to what you are speaking in front of them. So if we are speaking the whole material as it is mentioned in the slide, it loses the attention and it seems that you're not prepared for the presentation and you're just making a paper reading. Do not speak to the slides. Whenever you are presenting, face the audience. Do not face where the slides are displayed. Do not face your laptop even. Face the audience and just look at them, have a proper eye contact, and then talk to them about the thing you're talking. In this way, it will remain effective and impressive. Always use the hard disk. Trust the hard disk rather than your USB. So USB is vulnerable to any shock, to any damage, and you may lose your data. So it is better to email the copy of your presentation to your own self and to someone who is there. And then first, whenever you get a chance, download that copy or transfer that from your USB to the laptop. So it will work faster and you'll not be afraid of its loss anywhere. While presenting something, we should be using better font style and size. So we've already talked about the size. Let's talk about the font style now. We can use Arial, we can use Times New Roman, or we can use Calibri. So these fonts are good when looked at, but we should not be using them in italics. So italics is the use of font in slanting lines. So you can see the font style, size, and the formation of it, that using italics in different font styles makes presentation unreadable. You must be knowing that the number plate of each car and bike, they change and they're now unanimous, they're same. So they are accordingly according to the same format of formation because they're readable. Sometimes people displayed such number plates which were unreadable for the traffic police, that they could not get them at a glance. So they made them same all over. So uniformity is expected everywhere. We should be using a uniform font and we should not be using italics anywhere. Now we can also add an audio. Add some nice background music where it is necessary, or you can go without it. Avoid unlicensed music if you want to convert your presentation in video form and put it on YouTube, or add your own voice where it is necessary. So here you can go to the screen and you can go to insert and you can come up with this portion. You can use the audio from your PC and you can also record your own voice by selecting these tools on Microsoft Office. You can also add an audio by going to the same insert tab, and there you can add an online video or also some video you've already recorded and that is within your computer. So we should be using these things if they are necessary to use, otherwise we can also go without them. And if you want to record your presentation and rehearse your timing, so you need to go to the slideshow portion on your Microsoft Office, record your presentation and watch it critically. Rehearse the slide timing. You can see the dialog box there along with the record slideshow, and you can find this all in slideshow feature dialog box, and you can rehearse yourself that you need to talk about 30 minutes, so you will be rehearsing accordingly, and the timer is there always, that is working on the left corner, upper left corner. That will tell you the time you are taking to record a single slide. And furthermore, after it, when your recording is done, you can convert your presentation in a video form, which you can watch afterwards and critically analyze your own mistakes. So these are the references that I've used for the preparation of this material. You can go to them and you can look at all the website. So there are so many other tips for better presentation, but the common ones are already shared with you through this video lecture. I hope you understood it, since it was simple enough, but it should be digested well, because we have to present ourselves so many times in the upcoming in the future timings, in online classes, or when this COVID period is over. So we'll be physically presenting ourselves. So we must be using all this knowledge in order to present an effective and impressive presentation. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.